WSE Lounge.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another great edition of the WSE Lounge. Today's episode, we have former GH star. He played Dr. Ewen Keenan on General Hospital. Please welcome, without any further ado, actor Nathin Butler.
Hey, Brian. How you going, mate? Thanks for having me on the show.
I'm doing good, Nathan, and thank you so much for being on the show. And how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for asking. Just sitting in my studio right now and finishing up an edit on a film I directed out in Alabama recently.
Oh, cool. So, what kind of film was it?
It's a short film, and it's about two young brothers, and one of them has cancer, and the other one doesn't. And they live in a kind of low-income family. They live in a trailer park, and their father just passed away, and their mom kind of passed away when they were younger. And yeah, it's just kind of about the struggles of two young men living out in Alabama. And yeah, it's the irony of it is the kid who has cancer, he really wants to live. He really wants to adventure and see the world, but he's terminally ill and he doesn't have that long to live. Whereas the guy, his older brother, is looking after him. He kind of wants to, drink himself to death. He's kind of depressed, and he's very much living the other lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's an ironic story, and yeah, it's a beautiful piece. So I can't wait to finish editing it and get it up.
That sounds good, and we'll have to be sure and check that out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Your volume sounds kind of low, Nathan.
My volume's low. Is that better?
Still sounds a little low.
How about now?
Still sounds a little low. When you first called it sounded louder.
Oh, it did?
Uh-huh.
Do you want to try call back or something? Or?
Okay, yeah. Just try to call back real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. He's gonna call right back, ladies and gentlemen. He sounded kind of low to me. I don't know if it did to everybody out there. Okay. Hello?
Is that better?
Yes, much better. I can hear you.
There you go.
Yeah,
you
you
must have had a bad connection, huh?
Yeah, we probably did. You sound like you was in a tunnel. Before we continue with the interview, though, this is the first time I've ever had the privilege of doing this. I am going to play a classic clip of me and you talking. You probably didn't even realize it. Before you joined the show today, me and you talked several years ago on a show called Pam and Doug. On there with Pam and Doug. So here we go.
All right, up next is area code 404. You're on with Nathan. Go ahead. Hello, Nathan. This is Brian from Georgia. Hi, Brian. How you doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing?
doing great, mate. Thanks.
That's great. I like hearing Australia accents. I think they're neat.
Nice, man.
But,
I don't mind your accent too. I think the southern accent's pretty cool too.
Thank you. The question I wanted to ask you, and I just have one question for you.
Sure.
Would you like to work with be interested in working with Jerry Jacks and Jasper Jacks in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. I had I've got to meet Ingo, who plays Jasper, briefly here at General Hospital. But yeah, I mean, if those guys were back, I think that would be fantastic. To work with some fellow Aussies, that'd be awesome.
Okay, well, it was good to talk to you, Nathan, and I wish you the best in all you do.
Thank you, Brian. You too, man.
Okay.
Take care.
You love. Thank you, Brian. Bye-bye.
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 Do you remember that?
Yeah, man. There you go. Man, that was getting to be a while ago, huh?
Yeah, that was, back then, that was when I would call into different shows and they would have guests on, and I got thinking, I said, well, if they can do this, then I can do this. And so I created this show back in 2014, and on June 21st, I'll be stepping down as host because I've been doing this for over 4 years or something. And on July the 5th, my friend I've known since 7th grade, he'll be taking over as a host, and I'll still be the CEO of the WSE Lounge and sharing news and everything, to the fans. But I just think that's, a great memory, and I try to record whenever I'm talking to, whenever I talk to somebody, on a show, whenever they had them as a guest, before I started my own show. But
wow, that's great, Brian. Well, it seems like you've come a long way, man, and congratulations with your show and everything. And I wish you all the best, dude. I think that's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I really do appreciate that. And now I have a question from a fan for you. Harold Martin says, any future projects? And I believe we just spoke about that. You're currently directing and producing and editing a movie. So do you have any other future projects you're doing?
And who was that question from?
Harold Martin.
Harold Martin asked if I have any future projects. Yeah, well, I'll talk about it again. I mean, it's called Nothing Gold Can Stay, and it's a story about these brothers, and they're on, they go on an adventure to look for this gold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the gold that their dad said he'd buried and left behind. Now, one brother, he's the guy who I play. He's the older brother. He's kind of grumpy, and he doesn't believe that it exists,
Mm-hmm.
And then the younger brother, he's dying of cancer, and he's terminally ill. He's got leukemia, and he only has, maybe 2 weeks to live, maybe less.
Mm-hmm.
And he really wants to live, and his character is very positive and happy, and that's the irony of it is that my character that I play, he's very negative, and he's a pessimist, and he's very depressed, and he's healthy, but he's kind of drinking himself to death. So it's a crazy ironic part of life, is that you kind of health is everything, So that's I'm editing it right now. You can see it in the background here. I'm actually videotaping this, and I'll play a little bit for the fans. I'll play a little bit for you guys later on, and I'll put it up on my Insta. But yeah, man. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I also have a production company, and we're kind of working on a few different things. So yeah, I look forward to sharing it with you guys in the future.
Okay, great. That sounds really good, and we look forward to later on. Fans, you heard him. He said he'd play a little bit of the clip he's working on with the movie that he's doing right now. It's about two brothers, one who has terminally ill cancer, and the other one don't want to really listen. and so he's going to play a clip for us a little bit later, on during the show. What was it like for you growing up in Australia?
What was it like for me growing up in Australia? Well, in Australia, I grew up in a town, a small town, or outside of a small town called Georgetown, and it was about 700 kilometers, which is like 300 miles from like the closest city or town, and I grew up on a cattle ranch out there. Of course, we call those cattle properties.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up on a 45,000 acre ranch, and yeah, man, it was an amazing childhood. We were herding cattle and flying around in helicopters and swimming in crocodile infested rivers and fishing and riding horses and bulls, and I had a great time growing up, man.
Sounds like quite an adventure.
Yeah, I did. I had a very adventurous, adrenaline-packed childhood, that's for sure.
Now, speaking of adventure, because I know you work with him on General Hospital, Ingo Redenbacher, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep up with him on Instagram?
I don't really keep up with Ingo. I follow him, and I always check out his photos and stuff, but we never really had much to do with each other on the show. We kind of crossed out. We didn't really cross paths there. When I was in, he was on the show, and then when I came out, he came back in. So, but it's weird because we've both been on Hawaii 5-0. We've both been on General Hospital, so we've worked on similar shows, and we probably have a lot of, we probably know a lot of people and have a lot of people in common,
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason I asked if you kept up with him is because on Instagram, his stories are just amazing. His, he's got 2 boys and his wife, and they seem like they go on an adventure every day. If it's not in the forest, if it's not at a place where Ingo's relative is building different tools and stuff out of wood for the kids to use as like a sword or a knife. They're going to different water parks and mountains. I mean, the illustration and the pictures and the videos that he shares on Instagram is amazing. I mean, he really is a very ambitious person that exercises, and you can tell that him and his whole family stay in great shape and condition, and they walk trails and all kinds of stuff, and you get to see all kinds of different nature and stuff, on his Instagram stories, and they're just amazing.
Wow, man. Well, that sounds amazing. I'll definitely check it, check his profile out more, but I like to do stuff like that too. I mean, not every day I'm out there, but once a week, like every Friday, I like to take off work, and I like to take my son. I have a 4-year-old son. I like to take him on adventures, we go out and get in the outdoors. We go fishing and boating and hunting and camping, and I like to do that, with him. And then occasionally I get to take my own family. But we got a newborn kind of baby right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that that makes it a little tricky to get out there and do that kind of stuff. But once she gets old enough, man, I'll be taking them both out. We'll be doing. I grew up doing all that kind of stuff, so I really want my kids to have a really fulfilled, enjoyable, memorable childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Sebastian Roach, who played Jerry Jacks, he also does adventurous stuff as well on Instagram, but he doesn't do it as quite often as Ian, not Ian, Ingo does. But yeah, that's that'll be very cool though when your daughter gets older, and taking her and your son both out and showing them stuff and adventures and stuff. I mean, you can maybe teach her how to be in the swamp and stuff. I don't know, you know, like you were as a kid growing up.
Yeah, no, totally, man. I think it's an important part of life, you know, to get out in nature and see, you know, and see some of the world, man. You know,
I
I feel like we miss that growing up in these cities. And man, if I lived in Hawaii, yeah, I'm sure it would happen more often. You know.
yeah, yeah. I completely agree. I mean, you got to be out from the four walls around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to see fresh air and breathe in fresh air, and you know, a lot of times, just for me, I mean, if I can just go to nature park or somewhere and I can just breathe in the fresh air and see the lake and just see Mother Nature around me and what God created, I mean, it really takes a lot of stress and relief off of you, you know.
Yeah. No, it really does, man. It's a beautiful, you know, beautiful part of life to do stuff like that. I mean, I just went sailing yesterday. I was out in a sailboat with a friend of mine. You know, we went out sailing out of Marina Del Rey and had a beautiful day, man. You know, and of course, me being the crazy Aussie that I am, you know, I jumped off the boat and I'm like swimming, trying to catch up to it, and you know, it was, man, it was so beautiful out there. I love being on the ocean too. It's a quite majestic place.
You know, I just started following you on Instagram earlier today, and was that you in the red shorts jumping off the boat?
Yeah, that was me, man.
Okay, I seen that on your Instagram story.
Yeah, right.
Did you enjoy appearing on Agents of Shields when it came on?
Yeah, I mean, I was only on it for, you know, if you blinked, you would have missed me. But
Yeah.
I liked it, man. I would have preferred to have a series regular role. But hey, I mean, you know, it was an honor to be on the show, and I got to work with, you know, all those guys, and that was cool, man. It was a cool little scene I got to do.
Now I know that Julie Marie Berman was on Casual that airs on Hulu. Did you by any chance get a chance to work with her when you were on there?
Yeah, I did, man. I was in, I think I recurred in 3 seasons, all 3 seasons of Casual, and I run into Julie a couple of times, and one of my scenes was I had a best man speech at her wedding. So I absolutely got to see her, and I mean, it's such a small world, you know, it's such a small industry. And you know, you're always running into actors that you've worked before, or producers, or you know, some of the crew. And yeah, it was nice. It's always nice to see people you've worked with before, because it makes you feel a little bit more at home, you know.
Yeah, getting to see a familiar face.
Yeah, and Julie Berman. She's a lovely actress.
Now, did you hear the? I'm sure you probably did, but I'll just tell you if you didn't hear. Did you hear the neat way that they went about letting everybody know that, you know, about she was pregnant and, you know, that she had a baby?
No, I didn't hear about it.
A while back, a couple months ago, they had released a video thing, and in the video, it showed her right when she first got pregnant, and then it showed her all throughout the 9 months pregnancy, and then it showed her after she had her baby, and she said, "I kept this private from everybody. I wanted to surprise everybody, you know, with showing everybody a video of me and everything being pregnant, and then us having the baby." So nobody even knew about it until she posted it on Instagram through a video package. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's very cool, man. That's a nice surprise. I mean, it's kind of some of the mystery and you know, like actors back in the day, you didn't really know that, you know, there was no social media. You didn't really know much about them, you know. There was some kind of like mystique and like this kind of beautiful thing with actors, you know. And nowadays it's, you pretty much know what we're eating for breakfast. So like, so So, that's nice that she did that and, delivered it as a surprise. I like that.
Yeah, and now there are a few actors that I know of that, like for instance Roger Howarth from General Hospital. He once played on One Life to Live. Who plays Franco and Todd Manning, and then Michael Easton, who played John McBain and plays Dr. Finn now. Neither one of them even have social media. Michael Easton has a Facebook page, but that's all. They're very private, and you don't really know what's going on with them unless you see a picture of them online where somebody went to a meet and greet and met them or something like that. I mean, so they're kind of private, and I know there's a few other ones out there that are pretty private, not on social media, but most of them, they are on social media.
Yeah, look, that's really cool, that those guys are not on it, and, I think for them, they already had careers when social media kind of came along.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was just starting out, and it's more of a, social media now, it's more of a marketing tool, and it is somewhat necessary if you're an up-and-coming actor, but, if you've already made it, then, it doesn't really matter. Look, if I, by the time, I get myself established and get, to where I want to be, to tell you the truth, I don't really want to be messing around with social media that much,
Yeah.
Maybe to promote my movies or films or TV shows or whatever, but I think the privacy part of everyone's life should be respected, and that's a very hard thing to do as a filmmaker and an actor is you do have to get used to people always, kind of being in your life, and knowing what you're doing and what you're up to, so.
Yeah, there's three things that I don't agree with social media. And, the first thing is, and I'm sure you probably get these all the time, when you get a friend request from somebody that you don't even, somebody from another country that you don't even know who they are or whatever, and they send you a request and everything that it shows no friends or shows a mutual friend. So you accept them with a mutual friend. Then after that, you find out they're some kind of scammer or something. They're not even really, a person. And there's an app that I downloaded, and I told, I believe it was actress T.C. Warner, who played on All My Children, when I had her on the show. There's an app that I downloaded from my phone, and it works great. It's called Reverse Image Search. And what it does is if somebody sends you a friend request on Facebook and you don't know who they are, and they have a mutual friend or what, so they got one mutual friend, and you don't know who they are, what you do is in the messenger, first of all, you save their picture from Facebook and you put it in the reverse image search, and when you do that, it will Google all of Google, and it'll come back and say if it matches any pictures. If it doesn't, then you ask them, you say, hey, do you have a picture that isn't on Facebook? And then when they send it to you, once they send it to you, you have them in your trap. And what I mean by that is you take that picture that they send to you and you put it in the reverse image search. It'll Google it and look it up. And I came across somebody one time, they said they were somebody and they wasn't. So I looked them up on the reverse image search, and I do this all the time because people like to, just be, make fake accounts. So once you put in the image search, it goes through Google, and on there when I did it, it showed that the person was so-and-so from so-and-so country and wasn't who they said they was. And I said, hey, how come on this site it says that you're so-and-so? You know what happened next? the person blocked me. That was it.
Wow.
Cause see, I called them out. I called them out on who they were, and so they blocked me. But that too works great. The reverse image search works great for stuff like that. And another thing that I don't like about social media is people tend to, like you were talking, you know, our lives need to stay private. I mean, yeah, it's nice to share pictures and videos and all that, but when people go to putting this, you know, they like to put drama all on Facebook about their personal lives and, you know, what's going on and all that. And, you know, back in the day when I was growing up, if you had a problem and there was a situation you had with your family or your friends, you talked it over between each other. You know, you didn't get on social media and air out all your dirty laundry and then have everybody in the world saying, well, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that and blah, 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 you know. So,
yeah.
and the third thing is, you know, social media causes a lot of divorces and people turning against each other and all kinds of stuff. If you know, if they share stuff that, you know, upsets somebody else, and I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it can be used for good and be used for bad. And I didn't mean to get off the topic of the interview, but I was just, you know, telling you, you know, just my opinion, you know.
That's interesting, Brian, because I get a lot of people messaging me and they say they're from the Illuminati.
Uh-huh.
And they're asking me to join, and they're saying, you know, to join the Illuminati, like my first pledge would be to send money to some charity in Africa.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I've had a number of these. And then there's also a number of, like, Bitcoin traders. And then there's a number of, man, there's just so many scams. There's a number of people that say they're from Africa.
Uh-huh.
And they, you know, and they want, again, they want money. You know, they want you to send them money. And the thing is like, when these people do that, it's like, I've been to Africa.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I've been to several places in Africa. And it's so funny, these scammers, you know, they do that, and then they say to you, you know, have you been to Africa? And when I say yes, they shut down, you know, it's like almost being caught out. And then I'm like, have you ever been? You know, and they're obviously, you know, wherever they are in the world,
Yeah.
like, they're not real, man, they don't know, you know, like, especially when, even if you were sending them money, this money's never going to make it to that village or that place. Like, and I tell these people, I'm like, you know, like, I try to get them with karma a little bit, and I say, you know, try to do something better with your life, and you should go to Africa and take some money to a village. And like, I've been to villages out there with no running water and power, and these people are so happy. They're intrinsically happy with their lives, and they have nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And if you don't know that and you haven't been there, then you should go, you know? And like, yeah, it's so many, it is. It's a shame that it's used in a negative aspect like that, and they abuse it. And you know what? If they're doing it, that means they must be getting people too, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure they get people, man, you know?
Yeah, I know that, I'm trying to remember who it was. There was some celebrity that I thought I would. Matter of fact, let's see, who was it? I think it was a soap star. It was a soap star. It was Chad Duell. You know who Chad Duell is?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was talking to him one time on Facebook, and I was talking to him about, you know, coming on the show and stuff, and he said yeah. And so I thought it was him, and come to find out, it wasn't even him. It was some imposter. So, yeah. So I mean, you know, you got to be careful also. I mean, cause sometimes people get on here and say they're somebody and they're not. And Lucy Grillo Faila just said hi.
Oh, hey, Lucy. How you doing? Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, So the guy who was pretending to be Chad, did he end up getting on the phone with you, or no? He kind of backed out before it got to that point.
No, he backed out. He didn't even give me his number to, reach him or nothing. He just said he just said, yeah, I can do it, and I said, okay, let's set up a date, but he never did set up a date or nothing. So.
Because that would have been cool, man. If someone came on pretending to be him, I would have listened to that.
Yeah, and then I would have been fooled, and everybody else would have been fooled.
That would have been really funny, man. I feel like that would be funny if like another actor did it. Like if I went on and like pretended I was like Maurice or like someone, and then send him the interview later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just had Maurice on last. Maurice Bernard was on last Thursday.
Oh, good, man.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy, huh?
Yeah, he is, especially his goats. Buddy, his goat.
I know about his goats, yeah. He loves the goats, man. I want to get some goats for my son too. They're pretty majestic creatures.
Yeah, he said that goats are good for stress and everything. He said.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, man. They're like they call them. That's what they call them, calming goats, huh? And you can do yoga with goats. You can do. There's a bunch of stuff people do with goats.
Yeah, and you were talking about Africa recently. My friend who she sings gospel and country music, I had her on the show a couple weeks ago. She actually went to Africa recently with her church, and she went over there, and they went into these single ladies' houses, and over there it wasn't like a house we live in over here in America. It was just like a small little area, and they had a kitchen and stuff, but the people over there, because they have different diseases and stuff, the people over there around them, they didn't want to be around the women and stuff. And so when my friend and her church went in there, the women were overwhelmed. They come to visit, and so when they walked through the village in Africa, the women followed behind Ashley and her church people that went over there, and they wanted to show the people in the village that, hey, these nice people came all the way from America to see us. We're not as bad as you think, and you can hang out with us too. And that's just the kind of environment that those people over there live in.
Yeah.
And so it's it's really different than over here in America. Like you were talking. I mean, if you've never been to Africa, you don't know. I mean, I've never been to Africa, but she's been over there, and just the experience. She said it was very different. And but what was it like for you working on Hawaii 5-0, or what is it like for you? Because I know you're still on there.
Yeah, no, I finished up on there, Brian.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I was shooting there at the start of the year. And yeah, Hawaii 5-0, man, that was fun, dude. I mean, what a dream job. If you could go over there and work on a show in Hawaii and live there. I mean, what's such a beautiful place, for starters. And just the energy and culture of that place, man, Hawaii. Like, while I was there, I did a lot of adventuring, too. I went scuba diving and hiking up mountains and, into these waterfalls and stuff. We went to this one place, I think it was called, I think the name was Sacred Falls, or anyway, something. But it was like illegal to go there because it was like fenced off, and it was gated off because it was really dangerous because there's a lot of falling rocks, and I guess people had been dying. So I snuck in there with my buddy, with a couple of buddies, and we climbed up there, and dude, it was so beautiful, man. Like, no people, this beautiful waterfall, and so I did a lot of adventuring when I could, when I had days, like half days off or a day off here and there. But doing the show was great, man. I played this guy Nick Jones, and he was a villain and I had fun, dude. Playing the bad guy, playing an antagonist is really fun, and my character, I enjoyed that character. I did a lot of study, and I kind of, I went deep with that guy, man. And the director, Alex O'Loughlin actually directed that episode. Who was a fellow Aussie and a mate of mine, and he did a wonderful job directing that, and he was very happy with my performance, as were the producers and everyone else. And yeah, that was a great show to do, man. I think it's another nice thing to put on my resume, and to have that footage. And yeah, I had a great time out there, man. I met a bunch of great people. Kind of made some friends for life too. Working on that show.
Well, that sounds very cool. And so how was it? If like it, cause I know on Hawaii 5-0, most of it shot outside. How was it for y'all with the weather change and stuff?
The weather change, I think we got pretty lucky while I was there. I was there for a couple of weeks. The weather was not too bad. It held up, but they always have days, and they give, they have backup days if they need to use them. They'll have time like they'll have an allotted time where they could, if they have to shoot over or have to wait a day, they might go and do an interior scene or, stuff like that. But we got lucky, man. Everything we shot was, it looked great, and the weather held up. And yeah, man, I think, it only rains. And kind of when it rains in Hawaii, I don't know if it's like this all the time, but when I was there, definitely, like, when a storm comes through, it passes really quick. So it'll rain, like hard, and then heavy rain, and then it'll just disappear, and it'll be sunny again. So I guess if that happens, you do that. And what else did I do? I went surfing out there, man. I mean, I'm Australian, I should be a decent surfer, being from Australia, and I'm okay, but I'm no, like, to Hawaii standards. I mean, I surfed Pipeline one day, and it was so big, Brian, and I thought I was gonna die, dude. The waves were so huge, but I got there and I got to the beach. I got sat on the beach, and I'm like, man, I can't come to Hawaii and sit here and look at Pipeline and not surf it. I gotta surf it. So I rented a board and got out there, and man, I got a couple of waves, and I was a little bit too scared to kind of stay in the barrel, but these were, they were well over 10 feet, this day I was out there. And man, when you're out there in that kind of surf, you got to be fit, and you got to be careful. And I wasn't in, probably the best shape to be out there, like surfing shape. But I was like, I got to give it a go, man. And I caught an awesome wave, and then I caught another, and I kind of came off it. And I was literally, like, when that surf there, when it sucks up, it's like you can stand on the reef. And I stood up on this reef, and I looked behind me, and there was like a wall of white water coming at me. And I was like, oh man, I'm done for, And I don't know how long I was under, man, but it was crazy. And then, I came up, and it took me so long to get back into the beach, but I did it, I did it, and I survived, and I got some adventure in, got some adrenaline in.
Wow, I gotta ask you this now. I know you was talking about that people would fall from jumping and landing on the rocks, and get hurt. You being such an adventurous person, please tell me you didn't jump and try to get near the rocks.
No, I didn't jump, man. I'm adventurous, but I'm safe too. I got two kids, man. So I gotta, I got two kids to look after, so I can't be that adventurous anymore. But I still, I do it, and I always kind of, go on the side of caution. But yeah, man.
Well, that's good that you're cautious and everything, even though you're adventurous. That's very good. Yeah. Now, what was I going to ask you? Oh yeah, I know what I was going to ask you. Whenever, okay, I asked the director this the other day, and he really didn't know. But I want to ask you, like, say, for instance, on the set of Hawaii Five-0, they were going to have a tsunami or like a hurricane to hit. How do they go about putting that together to make that happen to where it looks like a hurricane or a tsunami hitting on the television when you're viewing it?
Sure, that's a good question. I have a little bit of experience in it, in a kind of different vein here. But I was on the set of I worked on The Pacific, which was an HBO series with Tom Hanks and that Steven Spielberg produced. It was like the second insert of their Band of Brothers, and they shot most of it. 90% of it they shot out in Australia, and I was playing a young soldier, and that's a good example of like how they create like war. Like they have such great special effects, and these teams, of like, so you'll have like explosives on set, and instead of like the bombs being filled with like shrapnel or stuff that could kill you, it's filled with like soil and black soil and stuff. So when these explosions go off, you get kind of rained on by all this like debris and like soil and stuff that doesn't necessarily hurt you, but it looks great on camera. So I guess my answer to the tsunami thing would be, you'd use big fans, and you'd kind of blow debris in, and I guess that's where great kind of prop makers and like people, they make debris out of like light materials like foam, but they look real. So you make, like, for example, a brick. You can make a brick out of this light foam, but paint it so it looks like a brick. And then when it flies through the screen and hits you, it doesn't hurt, but like kind of does a little bit, so you can act it, and then if there's anything flying, I mean, that's where you do, you come into green screen stuff, and you have people on harnesses, and later in post, you will take the lines out from the harnesses, so you'll take the wires out, so you can't see them later. So I guess that's how they do a lot of it, is green screen and fans, and if you can't do a special effects on set, then you add other layers and elements later with the effects when you're editing, So I guess that's how you do that. But there's so many ways to do it, But I mean, nowadays they're getting so good at it, and CGI is incredible, Like, I mean, you could probably just put a big ass fan in there, so the character's like blowing around a little bit, and then you could do most of it in post. You could do most of it with CGI.
Wow, that sounds so amazing. And you taught me something new today, and probably taught a lot of us something new. I never knew that they put like sand and dark sand and stuff in the grenades and everything, doing the props and stuff. And now I kind of figured they probably use some kind of fans, for the effect of the tsunami, or whatever they were trying to do with the weather effect. But what about like if they have a weapon, they have like blanks, firing blanks, or what?
Yeah, with guns, I mean, you fire blanks, like on when I was working on Hawaii Five-0, we would fire blank rounds, and actually one day, one of the guns like backfired, and the blank kind of like blew up at his face. And so, I mean, even though you're firing with blanks, there's still actually a blank bullet is a lot louder than a real bullet with a projectile, because the sound kind of travels, it goes out with the projectile. With the blank, it kind of stays right here in your face, so it's very loud, blanks. But when you're on set, you're dealing with guns and stuff, there's so much safety involved, and they show you blank, they show you the barrel, there's all this stuff before you shoot. It's very strict, and there's so many rules and regulations. Whereas, I mean, there's one time I was shooting this film in Africa, and we had real militants were playing extras in the scene. You know, the director had paid these militants some money to be in the scene, and the scene was like they were driving up to these oil pipes, and there was the oil pipes had busted.
Mm-hmm.
There was all this oil like spilling out into the dirt, into the nature, so the civilians were collecting the oil, you know, into buckets or whatever, and then running off with it, you know, because they could use it. But, you know, it's considered stealing, basically, because it's not their oil to take. But even though it's spilling out anyway, so these militants drove in with their trucks, and, like, you know, 50, you know, military guys got out with, like, their AK-47s and their guns and everything. And when they got out, like we said, action, and they drove in, and when they landed, they fired live rounds into the air. Like, they all fired their guns into the air. And these guys didn't have blanks in their guns. Like, they were real guns.
Wow.
Real ammunition. And so after that, we were like, cut. And, like, you know, the director ran up and, like, kind of yelled at him and said, no, you guys don't need to fire. You know, we'll just mime it, you know, and we'll put it in. And as you were saying, what we're talking about, we'll put it in post, which means you can just mime it, like, shake your gun a little bit and hold it up, and, like, later we can put little flashes of light on the muzzle of the gun, you know?
Yeah.
So, but they didn't know that, you know? These are just, like, actual military guys. And that was, I mean, I was scared, dude. I was really scared. I was like, oh, wow. Like, let's not do that again, you know?
Yeah. Man. I tell you what, you've really given us a history lesson. You know, about how, you know, how things work, and, you know, how things go. I mean, with the guns, to the grenades, to the weather. I mean, that's incredible. Now, something I was just thinking about while you were talking about that, I would love to see you guest star on one of my favorite shows, because I think you do good at it. NCIS Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's a good idea, man. I'd love to. I don't think I've ever auditioned for CIS.
Yeah, you should put some calls out.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man. I'm in a good place right now, you know, where I'm producing stuff and doing things, and I think I've been a little bit quiet on the, like, audition front at the moment, but I'm about to get back into it. And, you know, I was kind of spending some time with my kids and doing the family thing, and just enjoying life a little bit. But I'm about to kind of re-inject myself into the industry, and, you know, I really, you know, I hope and pray that I get put on a good show, man, and, you know, we can talk again one day, and hopefully we will be talking about, you know, doing something where I was on your favorite show. Or, you know, I'm really looking forward to it, Brian. You know, I think that'd be great. And I think you would do good at it. I mean, there's been several, you know, soap stars that have been on NCIS Los Angeles, you know, guest starred on there. And you know, I think you'd do good at it as well. And speaking of soaps, I do have a question from Joshua Dixon. He says, "Miss you. Would you do daytime again?" Hey, Joshua Dixon. I miss you too, bud. Hey, listen, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably do it. Man. You know, I had a lot of fun on there. You know, I can't really fault my time on the show. You know, it was like my first kind of solid role in the States, and yeah, man, I had a great time. Everyone was so kind to me, and, you know, it was a good learning curve for an actor. You know, it's when you're doing those soaps, man, it's so fast. You know, you got to be really prepared, and it definitely taught me some good lessons about acting, and I got to meet some really nice people along the way. You know, so yeah, sure I'd do it, bud. Sure.
I know on General Hospital, you made your debut as they call you, I guess they call you the handsome stranger. where you just showed up and Elizabeth had went overboard in on a cruise ship with Lisa Niles, the crazy doctor nurse, on there, and you saved her from you saved Elizabeth Weber from drowning, and you showed up nice at first, but then we saw the evil side of Dr. Ian come out, and you basically kidnapped Elizabeth, and then I believe you had it out with Jason Morgan, played by Steve Burton. So what was all that like?
Yeah, well, Brian, I kind of, when I got my job, there was Jill was the executive producer, and then Frank came on after her, and I was created by Jill and Garen Wolf, and and when he came on, he brought on his actors from One Life to Live, and he brought on his writers, and there was really no place for me anymore, which is the reason why my character turned from being a protagonist to an antagonist, was because the big boss kind of changed hands, and so I was lucky that I stayed in there for as long as I did, I think, because I think I would have gone a lot earlier, but we talked about it, and Frank and I and the writers, and we decided to make Ewen a bad guy, and it was fun, dude. I got to stay on the show for another year or so, and eventually all kind of villains come to an end, and which is what happened with Dr. Keenan. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was fun to play a villain, and if I could do it, I would do it again. And I know I'd do it a lot better, because I'm now a little older, a little more experienced, and it was interesting, man. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about acting, and definitely a lot about TV.
Yeah, and I know that I think it was a couple years. I almost knocked the screen over. That would be bad. I know that a couple years ago, I believe it was a couple years ago, or it might have been a year or two ago, somebody on Twitter had asked you if you would return to General Hospital, and you said you'd love to, as maybe an evil twin.
Yeah.
And if that were to happen, and I'm going to say what I said several years ago when I spoke to you first time on the Doug and Pam show, and Doug and Pam, credit goes to y'all for that recording. I recorded from y'all's show. Would you, if you came back as an evil twin, would you work with Jerry Jacks? Because I think you two together could be called the not necessarily like a tag team they have in wrestling or anything, but you could be like a duo. You could be called like the Australian villains or something, and Jerry Jacks and the evil twin of Ewen Keenan,
Yeah.
So would you be interested in working with him as the evil Ian?
Sure. Me and Sebastian? Yeah, man, why not? That'd be fun. I'd love to work with him again on anything. He's such a champion bloke, and he's such a gentleman. But yeah, it's funny how often really, nice guys or girls, or women, they play villains so well, and it's definitely something to that, I think it's very interesting, people have said that to me often, that I've been cast as villains quite a bit lately, and yeah, in real life, I'm a nice guy, I'm a kind, loving father, and
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with the role of the villain, I don't know, it's fun. It's like you get to do this kind of fantasy thing. I mean, it's still you, but it's like your evil side, you know? Yeah, I don't know. That'd be awesome, dude. I could come on, as a twin, Dr. Keenan's twin, and yeah, man, I'd take it. I'd take it to the extreme. I'd be a badass for sure.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool if you did that. And I never will forget when Sebastian made his first debut on General Hospital. He made a lasting impression, I think, on every single fan that watched that show, because nobody in the history of GH until him actually stood up to Sonny on there. I mean, he walked over to Sonny and he said, "Michael Corinthos Jr." And I mean, he stood there like, "I do not fear you, even though you're Sonny Corinthos." And he looked around at everybody and he said, "Okay, we're going to play a little game." He said, who's next? And, he had like his other people that worked with him in the mask and stuff at the Metro Court. And I just thought that was amazing. And like I was telling Maurice Bernard the other day, Sebastian is one character that you hate, but at the same time you love, because he does his job so well as Jerry Jacks.
Right.
And
yeah. I mean, there's something to that, and I think that's really good acting, or even great acting, is when you're playing a bad guy, you're playing a villain. Like 99 actors are gonna look at it and they're gonna play this mean guy, play really harsh and mean. But when there's something about it, like it's more powerful when you play him like Sebastian does, and he's got those subtleties and he's very delicate. And I mean, that guy is more scared. I'm more scared of that guy. The guy who's like very calm and collected and delicate and easygoing. I'm more scared of that guy than I am of the guy going like, "Oh, I'm a bad guy."
Yeah.
There's definitely something to that. That's really beautiful acting, is what it is.
Yeah, I remember when my dad was living, and he passed away last year. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. He had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. But I remember when he was living, he would me and my mom would go off somewhere. We'd come back and he'd say, "Hey, I seen GH today. I seen Jason and Sonny on there talking." And they were two of his favorites, but two of his other favorites, and my dad always loved this storyline, was whenever Jerry Jacks put a needle or an IV in Nicholas Cassadine, and he drugged him up, and my dad said, Jerry Jacks he put a needle in Nicholas Cassadine, and then every time he see Nicholas, he said, "That's that guy that Jerry Jacks put the needle in, ain't it?" I said, "Yeah," and I mean, he just loved. Those were his 4 favorite characters: was Sonny, Jason, Nicholas, and Jerry Jacks, and he just loved the way that they acted and put on great charisma and everything. And you got a comment from a fan. Joshua Dixon says, "I am loving this, and I love your accent."
Thanks, Joshua. Thanks, man.
And right now we're going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, you can play your clip you were talking about you're working on.
Sure.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Kristen Alderson. She does play in the Broadway play The Marvelous Wonderettes. You can use the coupon code for 40% off that she mentioned. Just want to give you a special note that the shows no longer air on Wednesdays and Thursdays. They only air on Sundays now. So you can see her every Sunday at the Marvelous Wonderettes. She was not there this past Sunday because she was on the Soap Fest with a bunch of the soap stars on the soap cruise down in Florida. But we are back here with actor Nathin Butler, and he's gonna play a clip for us all to hear exclusively here on the WSE Lounge of a project he's working on.
Okay. So I'm gonna first read to you a poem.
Okay.
That the film is based on. It's a Robert Frost poem, and it goes: Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subdues to leaf, so Eden sent to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. Nothing Gold Can Stay is the title of the movie. Now I'm going to play your clip, and then I guess because we're listening, I'll describe what happened, but
okay.
I'll play it now because then I'll put the video up later. I'll play it.
Okay.
Let's see. Full screen here. See me, I'm chopping wood at the front of this trailer, and then I hear my brother, he's coughing inside the trailer, and I head inside the trailer and enter the opening of the movie, and I'm chopping wood, and I'm all sweaty, wearing a wife beater, looking pretty manly. So I'm sure
all you women out there listening.
I'm sure you'll like that one. But, yeah, I'll go back to that bit. There you go. Look, blow it up. There it is. Looking all sweaty and pissed off. But yeah, it's gonna be. It was fun, man. It was definitely beautiful. It was a beautiful place. Going out to Alabama, you know, seeing some of America, some of America, you know, and yeah, I liked it out there, man. I definitely need to see more of the States, but it was nice to you know, get away, a quick getaway, and yeah, definitely go back. You know, we did some amazing things in Alabama. You know, we went inside these massive caves, and we jumped off these cliffs into water and into the lake, and yeah, it was really cool, man. I got to meet some really cool, you know, nice locals, and yeah, because where are you from, bro? You're from Georgia?
Yeah. Yes, from Georgia.
And that's where you are right now, doing the podcast from?
Yep.
Yeah, right on, dude.
Yeah, what I do is I air it on Facebook Live on the WSE Lounge group page for everybody with Facebook, and then everybody who don't have Facebook, I share it to the WSE Lounge interview archive, and then that way people that don't have Facebook, your fans can go on there and watch it on the WSE Lounge interview archive.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so, and I got another question for you from, and thank you for playing the clip for all the fans.
Sure, no worries. I'll send it to you later. I'll send you the video.
Okay. And do you have Facebook?
I do, yeah.
Okay, I'll send you a friend request.
Okay, right on, man.
Okay, I got another question for you real quick from Joshua Dixon. He says, do you live in the States? You actually live in Australia, don't you?
No, I do live in the States.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I live in LA. I live in LA, Joshua. I live in Woodland Hills, which is out by kind of Calabasas, just up the hill from Topanga. So I say I live rollerblading distance from Calabasas.
Okay. Well, you had me fooled because I know that Tony Geary, he lives in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And speaking of Tony Geary, today's his birthday.
Is it?
Yeah, it is today.
Gary.
Today's his birthday, and today is also Kristen Alderson's birthday.
Oh, that's very cool, man. Well, happy birthday to those fellas, huh? That's cool.
Yeah. So, do you have anything that you'd like to promote before we go off the air?
Yeah, just my social media, is my name, Nathin Butler. Nathan, it's Nathan with an I. Nathin. It's Nathan with an I because my brother's name was Colin. So Mom wanted Colin. She wanted him to kind of look the same,
Yeah.
Being the creative person she was. So yeah, it's just Nathin Butler.
Okay.
It's just my name at the Instagrams and Twitters, and yeah, check me out on there, and I'll be posting, some of my films and some of my clips up there, so you can check that out, and yeah, I'll put some of the Hawaii 5-0 stuff, Hawaii 5-0 scenes up there too in the next coming weeks, so you can check those out.
Okay, and I really appreciate you being on, Nathan.
Yeah, of course, Brian. No worries, man. It was an honor. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome, and I wish you the best of luck in all you do, and I'll be sure and share that stuff, on the WSE Lounge group.
Right on, man. That sounds good.
Okay, you take care and have a good rest of the week and weekend.
Yeah, you too, brother. And I'll look forward to talking to you again, man. Maybe we can do this again sometime.
Okay, and we'll do, and you take care.
All right, Brian. Take it easy.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Peace, buddy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was actor Nathin Butler. You know him from General Hospital as Dr. Ewen Keenan. I do apologize, this table rocking back and forth. I have more weight on the table than I usually do, so that's why it's kind of rocking back and forth. Tomorrow on the WSE Lounge, I'm going to be joined by a friend of many soap stars and celebrities. Jay Cavini will be here on the show on the WSE Lounge. He is well known by the soap stars and many celebrities. He is not an actor, but he's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of Kristen Alderson's, Eileen Kristen, David A. Gregory, who's right behind me over there, you can see, and several other soap stars. And Chad Leatherwood, I see you're joining, and I hope your arm gets better, buddy. I heard about your arm. So anyway, I'm going to let Hudson West close us out, and we'll see you tomorrow on the WSE Lounge, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, with Jay Cavini, a friend to many celebrities and soap stars.